another individual in the school. We sit down and meet, and a lot of times Officer Enderly is a part of those meetings, and we discuss the level of threat that we feel that this person is facing towards himself or another person, and then we act accordingly. Another group that we work with is once a week we have what's called our FLC, which is our freshman learning community. We meet once a week. All of our freshman teachers, administration, myself, and our guidance counselors to discuss if we have any concerns about students and really trying to develop close relationships with those freshmen as they enter the building and trying to form that relationship with them that first year to hopefully carry on the next couple of years to where we have a better idea of who these individuals are, so we're better equipped if there are ever concerns that we are noticing with these students.
So I'm Marcy Hunt. I'm the school counselor at Pontiac Junior High, and this is Mason, their facility therapy dog. And so, click through.
He's in the closet.
Click through for me. So Mason is a facility therapy dog. So a facility therapy dog is one that has been trained to go into a facility, like a nursing home, hospitals, schools, children's advocacy center, courthouses. He's also a therapy dog, and that he's been trained additionally in therapy and work with social emotional type issues. So because mental health is such a huge thing, we see a lot of trauma in the schools, and so Mason is just used as another tool. I work individually with students, and so he helps me work with those students, kind of opening doors. I also use him in groups, and just as with the whole school and the culture. So greeting students, and excited to see the kids coming off the school bus, and so he smiles in joy. It also opens up opportunities for you to ask, how is your dad doing, knowing that that student's dad is in the hospital, or how was the game last night, or just kind of making those relationships, developing those relationships, opening the doors to, I talked to him about a really rough night, those kind of things. So, yeah, he's just another tool that applies, and research has shown that therapy dogs improve not only but also academic. So he's doing amazing things. We were approved in December of for me to pursue training with Mason. And of course, he was already trained. He had to train me. So it's been quite a process. Yeah. Love him. That emotional aspect and trauma, mental health. Question, him? Love to come around.
So those are all very proactive energies on your part, and I probably should have asked the chief about evacuation drills and things like that on the other side. How often do you do those?
I don't know the exact state mandate for those, the timeliness of them, if it's one per year or one per semester, but they're in accordance with all the state.
When you've been involved in those evacuation drills?
Oh, yeah. And like they had said, the communication and cooperation and just teamwork amongst everyone is amazing. I love it even just when he comes in and he's talking to the students and of course with staff. Great. Got a great working relationship.
Must be quite a task to get to know all those incoming freshmen, maintain that relationship. I mean, we're not talking about 25 people here.
Right. There's quite a few, and I'm not sure, I don't know how long we've implemented that freshman learning of them all having the same teachers and being in one space together, but it's really helped them kind of form those relationships, get to know them, and to me, I think if they feel that we personally know them, we show an interest in them, we care about them, that improves their mental
And I feel like we also do a good job of passing them off. We meet as social workers at the end of the year and kind of discuss concerns that we have, which then they're ready to hit the floor running and they're prepared for what's to come. So I think we do a great job of passing them off as well.
This dog is more of a buddy then. It's not the department.
No, that's strictly there.
Okay. Our dog is, the police department dog is just out.
Amongst, yeah, he's a full-service dog that can track and sniff drugs and fight with.
What about explosives?
Not explosive.
How much can you, so you discovered a young person having some issues, perhaps at home, and you finally kind of weeded that out. How much of that can you give back to the parent? You know, how much involvement can you bring back to the parent? Are you restricted in some way?
So, personally, if I have concerns that a student is harming themselves or going to harm someone, I absolutely call the parent, that phone call home. If they make some concerning statements to me, I will always tell the student, hey, I'm gonna call home, I wanna make sure that they're aware of what's going on. There's another set of eyes on you when you get home. So I'm very open with the student that I'm making that phone call home, but I try to only involve the parent if they are harmed to them. I do still want to try that confidentiality.
And you have an officer in school periodically?
Yes.
Shared through us or through, and are you able to speak to that officer about those issues, or are there some restrictions there?
Again, if it's concerning with another student and I have reason to believe that they could potentially harm someone else, then yes, I would get him in at that point.
And does that officer, if there is something really serious to be thought about, like perhaps a gun being seen somewhere, does that officer report back to you, Chief?
Definitely.
Yes. Okay. All right, those are a bunch of questions I had over the past couple of weeks with the issues that we've seen and stuff I never thought of. I come from the era where I had to put my head under the desk because there was a nuclear bomb coming, but not guns in my lunchbox. So.
Well, ladies, thank you for coming up. We've enlightened us, and we like to see that we're being more pro-positive on all these issues, and that you're working well with the city departments, and
Yep.
go from there.
Yep.
And-
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you now. You take care. Okay. Moving on, we'll get to some sewer separation. We'll get Jake up to tell us how it's going on the south side.
Good evening. Last Monday, we opened bids for the Southside Separation Phase 2 project. We had 3 bidders on that. City and Farnsworth Group was at the bid opening. With the 3 bidders, Opperman Construction came in at the lowest at $1,217,676.76. This is our last phase that we're going to proceed with this fiscal year. And we were expecting, or we had, Farnsworth Group had an estimate of about $1.4 million for this phase. So with the 1.2 and change, we were a little over 200,000 less than what we anticipated. So just like phase 1 of storm sewer separation, we had very good bid numbers. And after a long history with Opperman Construction, we feel comfortable awarding this bid to them with your permission. Phase 2 storm sewer separation concentrates more in South Street and Henry Street between Mill and Vermillion. So that that quadrant, that Grove Street, Mill Street, Reynolds Street, Vermillion, that rectangle there, that's where the majority of the Phase 2 separation will occur. Phase 1 will be more of South Locust, Lowell Street, Hummelson Street, bit of more of a winding path. Phase 2 is a little more concentrated. Phase 2 has definitely the majority of the storm inlets will be separating. So Phase 1 and Phase 2 being completed this year by 2 separate contractors will definitely yield results very quickly. After these 2 phases, we will very easily see the results at the plant with less flow during rainstorms, less combined sewer overflows, and most likely a lot less basement backups that still occur in heavy rains in those areas. So we've been talking about this since I was a 17-year-old in high school, mowing lawn and weed eating out at the treatment plant. Something we've always joked about for years, that one of these days when we get Southside separated, this is a very big day and big season for a sewer system, simply because of the rains and the storms and the issues we've had. This is going to really reduce those issues. So with your permission, we would like to award that bid, Phase 2, to Alperman Construction for, again, $1,217,676.76.
Thanks, Jake. We have a motion.
I move to accept.
Motion by John Willie, seconded by Jamie. Roll call, please.
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Callis.
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Gaber,
Abstain.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Thank you, Council.
Thanks, Jake. Next, we have an ordinance on granting a variation for a sign setback at Reynolds Street. You want to talk on that? Or- I see Mr. Patel is here.
Hi, thank you for your time here. I am requesting for variance of 5-foot setback from the existing line.
Dave, you want to,
Yeah, he's requesting a setback at 1030 West Reynolds Street. He's seeking a variance from the Code of Ordinances to allow him to have the current setback's 14 feet. He wants to have a setback of 5 feet due to the multiple times signs been backed into by customers. We'd just like to relocate it to the east 6 foot and put it 5 foot from the property.
Did the large boulders not help that situation?
No, it does not.
I've seen that, yeah. I almost hit it once myself.
What were you doing to me?
on the bicycle?
The ordinance requires, like, if you have an 8-foot sign, it has to be 8 foot tall, has to be 8 foot setback. And
Okay.
5 foot tall, 5 foot setback.
The reason being that you don't want it falling into the street.
Yes.
Right.
And
it falls on your own
on
property.
Somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
We varied it before on the real tall signs because that's difficult to keep on a property.
I think I voted no on that too.
Yeah, I think you did probably.
Will the base then be the same base? Are you moving the physical sign or doing a whole new,
Whole new base then, yes.
so maybe a wider base?
Yes.
Are the rocks staying?
What's that?
The big rocks, are they staying?
We will put them on the curb then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does the state have any objection because of the road? The highway, I mean, does the state have any,
They don't get notice unless they read it in the
Okay.
paper.
so there's no other?
There's
I
no
mean,
notice
there's
requirement
no-
to the state.
They don't have any rules or anything
There's a
out there.
lot of,
Now, didn't this one, in measuring the distance, even if it were to fall, it still wasn't going to make it to the
Still wouldn't
roadway?
Make it to the road.
Right.
Considerable setback
And you said there's a merchant who's already had this variance?
next door. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly.
Change.
So if this is approved, does this become the standard instead of the
No.
14 feet?
variances for this.
Now, variance is site-specific and circumstance-specific.
Yeah, but if you pass it for this, how do you deny the next guy that wants it?
Obviously, we've done it once.
Right. I mean, it's,
You approved one not long ago that went out into the street right of way. They gave a license agreement to do that, as I recall. We do that for Sartoris?
And the specifics on this case are people are hitting the sign
Yeah.
in their vehicles.
But if the sign was only 5 foot tall, it could have a 5 foot setback.
right.
Yes.
Okay.
And its base would
So no
still be, in-
variance.
yeah.
Right. That seems kind of strange, doesn't it? That part I don't understand.
We don't want tall people to hit their heads and they walk underneath it, so.
So, got any other questions? Do we have a motion or?
I'd so move to approve 2023-0-013.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion by Bill Callis, seconded by Jamie. Roll call, please.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Callis,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Gaber,
No.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Jovanini.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next up, we have a request for a street closure for a Kids Nick program. I see Rodney is here.
How you doing? Sorry I'm late.
Give us some details, Rodney.
I'm here to ask you for the use of the park and to shut down, not 3 blocks, but 2 blocks. We're actually gonna play it by ear. If we got a lot of people out there, then we will move the horses back. We're gonna have like 2 events in one, like school supply giveaway. We usually have that in Lions Park, but in August, the kids will already be in school, so we want to give them the school supplies in July. We're gonna have a huge line dance, because I think that'll unify the people, the kids, and all of you. Come out and slide to the left and slide to the right. Hot dogs, burgers, and everything, you're welcome to it. And I hope you guys let us do it again.
So I would just add, Rodney's been doing Kids Nick 23 years at
Let's make
least?
24.
24 years.
Yeah.
It's never been an issue. He has recently moved over to the Hummiston Riverside Park, and in the past we have shut down Water Street from Oak to Court, and that's what this says. But now we're amending that to closing from Oak to Division instead of Oak to Court. And we've already talked with Parks. Park is available, and he'd be fine with his event there.
And Eric, how come you didn't take my picture? Where? Oh,
The dog's cuter, Rodney.
huh?
The dog is cuter, Rodney.
Okay. All right.
And how many years has this been going on, Rodney?
24.
But about you, but this particular event?
24.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe 23. Mary, it might be 23.
Okay.
I want to get ahead of myself. Let's just say 23.
No kickball this time, huh?
No, you left, remember? The kids kicked his ball way out of the Lions Park somewhere and he left. Mary.
Real good.
But we enjoy having you there and
Yeah.
everything. And
No
I'm
problem.
going to come by and bug you and make sure you come to this one.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
I'll
So-
make a motion, we allow the closure.
I'll second.
Motion by Brian, seconded by Maggie. Roll call, please.
Callis,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Gaber,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Jovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
Thank you guys for your time.
Good time. Moving on, looks like we got a police vehicle. Chief Davis is going to give us the word on that.
Okay, the memo in your packet covers really both item E and F on the agenda, but as far as item E, from our meeting last month about budget, I'd like to continue the tradition of budgeting for one new squad car. I found a different supplier. Very coincidentally, actually, I received a call out of the blue that they had a cancellation for some police vehicles and had 5 white squad cars that could be picked up sooner than later. So I would like to request authorization to purchase one of those for now out of the regular new equipment budget. Could be delivered as early as next week, he said.
That's pretty quick, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's unheard of. Normally,
Yeah, it's
we
a-
order in March and we get in September to February.
It's been a 8 to 10, the last 3 years, been 8 to 10 months turnaround time.
Wow. I'd motion we accept the purchase of that vehicle.
Motion by Kelly, seconded by Don Hicks. Roll call, please.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Gaber.
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Giovanini.
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
Callis.
Yes.
Thank you. Chief?
Okay, so for agenda item F, the somewhat unusual circumstances as far as the quick turnaround of this car, I really think it's in the city's best interest that we take advantage of that. Like we said before, it's a 6 to 8 to 10 month turnaround time. For this, I would like to purchase a second vehicle, but using seized DUI fine money. The reason for that being, if it was further in the year, I said before those budget meetings, I was going to kind of assess repair costs of some of our older vehicles throughout the year. The fact that this is an opportunity that needs to be acted on sooner than later, I don't have the chance to use new line item budget money for a second car, that might prohibit some of the other equipment purchases that we discussed previous budget meetings. So this second vehicle, due basically to the unheard of availability, I would like to purchase from the same Sutton Ford in Madison at the state bid price of $39,923. But that would, for the vehicle, would strictly be out of fine money.
And we have enough money in the fine money.
Previous chief did a good job of not spending that money for him.
I was set up quite well on that fund.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You should get a promotion.
What other
Something.
things can that be used for?
So we collect, there's a fine called DUI equipment. So it could be used for vehicles, breathalyzers, anything to
Radars.
help law enforcement enforce DUI statutes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
And vehicles are a fantastic use for it.
Yep.
I'd so move that we approve the purchase of the second vehicle, since the availability is there, we have the money to do it.
Motion by Don Hicks, seconded by Jamie. Roll call, please.
Hicks.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Gaber.
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Giovanini.
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
Callis.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Super. Next, Chris is going to tell us all about grinding.
Yes. At my budget meeting I had with you, I mentioned the need to get away from burning our brush pile. It's getting pretty cumbersome for us to do it. It's largely related on wind direction, so we maybe get a 3 or 4 day window to burn, which during the summer rarely happens. So then when we do light it, if the wind changes, either my guys are out there putting it out or we're having to rely on Jake's folks to come out, especially if it happens after hours, which is taxing on them as well. We did have, I mentioned before, we had budget money last year to do some grinding. We were gonna grind up all of our old ash logs. Well, one of our attempts at burning ended up catching the log pile on fire. So, we couldn't grind the logs, but we did use part of that money to grind a couple months worth of brush, and it worked out really well. On average, if we were to hire a grinder to come in, you were looking at around $2,500 per day, plus setup. And so we started looking around, and Trost Tree Service ended up buying one last fall when we did our brush pile. And I asked him to put together a proposal of what it would take to grind our brush for a year, our brush, our logs, everything. And he quoted us $2,200 per month, or $26,400 for the year. With that, he would grind more frequently during our busy months of brush. He would come almost every other week, and just to keep our pile down, and less during the winter. So the winter time would be, anything that's when we do a lot of our tree work. So it'd be our trees and things like that. So if we did go this route, we would need to kind of regulate the amount of material that's coming in. A lot of our local landscapers and tree people rely on having a place to dump. So we came up with a fee structure to be able to charge them for that, which is included in the packet. We're one of the only communities that allow contractor dumping. But I didn't want to pull the rug out from under everybody this spring. So we thought we'd give this a try. At $40 per load for a pickup or a 1-ton, or a truck and trailer combination. If they bring in logs, because they're a little more, there's more labor in moving the logs around, we would recommend a charge of $80. And then if they bring in chips from their tree chippers, $30. Only because there's more material for us to have to move around. We would leave the loose grass and the fall leaves at no charge. And then if those contractors were to do work for the city, they would not be charged either. Other guidelines we would ask for them, we ask that the waste is generated in town. That doesn't always happen. We would require that these companies be registered with the city of Pontiac in order to dump. We would like to get away from the plastic bags, and this is something that would be on the resident side of it as well. We would ask them to start moving away from using those, because when they go through the chipper, it's like confetti. And there's other options for them, paper lawn bags, just putting the loose material in a container where we can handle it at the curbside. It's a lot easier for us. And again, our policy would remain, we've had with our local companies, that they are responsible for the material they generate. When they pick it up, when they're doing a job, don't put it out for us to pick up. You guys still need to handle it and get rid of it on your own. We would restrict their dumping days to where someone could be at the shop with, we're recommending a Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning situation where they come between the hours of 7 and 9 a.m. where we could check the loads and charge them. If they had a special situation, they could always contact us for a special dumping. We would either set up where they could pay as they go, or a monthly invoice, or we could invoice them monthly for the times they come. Be a little more paperwork on my end, but I don't know that they want their people to walk around with cash on them all the time, so. And again, as far as the residential side of it, the main change is going to be getting off the use of plastic bags. And so we have a target about the middle of May to start enforcing that. Otherwise, it would be pretty much status quo for local residents to be able to come and use the facility as they have. So I'm asking for permission to enter into an agreement with Trost Tree Service for this fiscal year and have it open for evaluation as we come into next year. Let's see how it goes and if it works out.
It'll be a 1 year.
1 year,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
It would expire March 31st. Then we could evaluate it and see where we need to tweak it.
It'll
And
take a long time to get the flow down, make sure we can keep an eye on how it's coming in and
yeah, for sure.
everything
Yeah,
else too.
We keep an eye on them anyway because, on everybody that comes, because we have things sneak in that shouldn't be there, couches and mattresses and.
Oh, yeah.
So the major change will be we'll keep the gate shut at noon because that's when a lot of stuff comes in because they know when we head out for lunch, that's when the trucks start rolling in, so. I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be a good thing for us so we don't have to deal with the smoke. Folks on the east end won't have to smell the burn up ash, and I think in the long run, it's a good move for us.
A lot of people over there have very sensitive noses.
Like I mentioned before, there's one that lives in my house that has a sensitive nose too and can smell it when the wind changes, so.
Yeah.
Chris, how and when would we pay Trost Services? As a monthly or?
I was thinking quarterly. I haven't really talked with him too much on that. I think he would prefer spread out over the year versus a lump sum. That'd be my preference as well, just to make sure everything's working right.
Hopefully, we would earn or make enough money on the jobs we do that we have the cash to give the Trost.
Well, the goal would help to offset some of our expenses, and it might be an option for him too. They may want to work out something on the side with him where they can take it to his place and grind too. That way we won't have to mess with any of it.
Yep.
But they have to have an option right now. I just didn't want to pull it out from under them and say we're done. So.
What was spent last year on this?
We spent $5,000. We had $10,000 budgeted to do our log pile, and then like I say, it went up in smoke. And so we had about 2 months worth of tightly compacted brush, and it took them 2 days to get it ground, and it cost $5,000.
How do we control how do we know that it's coming from in the city limits?
It's when we see them.
Okay.
A lot of times the guys will see a truck coming in, and they'll call on the radio, keep an eye out, there's truckload of brush heading that way.
Yeah.
A lot of times if I see, there's a couple tree cutters in town that I'll go out when I see them come in and quiz them. Sometimes they're honest, sometimes
Yeah.
maybe not so much, but
What about the 2 brush piles at the golf course? I know that's not your department, but those have always been burned, and so is that, anybody know?
we've kind of always done that on a case by case.
Okay.
I don't have a problem hauling it in and grinding it. I mean, we have trucks and equipment to load it. I know they've always worked with the fire chief on picking a day where they could do that, but,
Well,
no.
because there are some neighbors who I still see taking their stuff there themselves. So we either need signage or, if we're not going to do it, we need to,
I can work with Shannon
yeah.
on that. He's always handled it. I mean, it
doesn't make me- I just was
never really
curious
been an
if that had
issue,
been-
but
yeah.
it hadn't been talked about.
Yeah.
We can work something out with that though.
And you're only grinding organic material. You're not grinding pallets and.
Mm-mm. No, it's really cranking down on everything, yeah. We used to take clean lumber, but not anymore because they say it's clean, but there's usually nails, and I would just hate for that mulch to go out and somebody run a nail in their foot.
Right.
So just kind of cleaning up shop. It's been kind of a free-for-all for a number of years and just tightening up and
Well, policing the fee structure and everything else is going to take a little time and getting used to.
it's going to be
And,
a learning curve for sure.
We'll have to have several notices in on our mailers and whatnot to
Yeah,
get
I'm
the
gonna-
broadest spectrum out that we can.
Yeah, and I'm sending direct mailers to the letters to all the
Right.
companies that are registered. And so as we see them come in, we'll be making sure they're signed up and
All right.
ready to go.
I'll motion that we accept the bid of Trost for the grinding.
I'll second it.
Motion by Kelly, seconded by Mr. Callis. Roll call, please.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Gaber.
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
Callis.
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Don't we have to vote on the other one?
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
She only moved for G.
yeah, we approved the grinding. Now we have to discuss the structures, the fee structures and that, which I think are adequate.
I would so move that we accept for what's here right now. And like Chris said, follow it through the year, see how it works out.
I'll second.
Motion by Don, seconded by Brian. Roll call, please.
Clark.
Yes.
Gaber.
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
Callis.
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Thank you. Chris, we're disposing of property again.
Yes, we are.
Fire away.
Okay, we'd like to use Gov Deals, the method we're using to auction off our used equipment. Of the items that are actually running, we'd like to use Gov Deals to sell our old Ford backhoe, and we're gonna ask a minimum of $7,000 for it. Our old Michigan end loader, we're gonna ask $3,000 for that. We have a old Cub lowboy mower. It needs a $1,000 clutch, so we didn't feel like spending that money. So we'd like to ask $500 for that. There's an old wheel horse tractor from the cemetery that's no longer used. We would ask $300 for that. And then an old turf mower from the golf course which is good for parts. And we would ask a minimum of $500 for that. The next 4 vehicles have been robbed of parts over the years. We would just soon take those to from what I've seen on Gov Deals, if they're not operable, most people don't bid on them. Price from Rhodes's and from the local place here. It's kind of how I'd like to approach that. So we're just asking for permission to send these things off to a new home.
Chris, I'm just curious, how'd you arrive at the minimum fees for the backhoe and the end loader and?
Looking at Machinery Trader, the auction site, kind of how I came up with that. Average, if they were newer, I'd probably be asking more. That's kind of the average I saw what things were going for. I could try more. That's just how I based it.
Refresh my memory, it goes out for bid and then how long before you accept the bid?
It's an auction, so
Okay.
the folks get to bid on the item and then they pay a buyer's fee. It's no cost to us, the cost is borne by the actual buyer. Yep. Think
You
we're
can
look-
set the terms on how long you want the auction to last.
Right,
Typically, they're 2 weeks, I think.
yeah. I think we're a little lean on a couple of those prices.
No, I didn't have any idea.
Yeah, that's what I looked at.
It's amazing there's no John Deere products on this list.
They're all-
Everywhere I go.
Okay. Is there any local site that you go to too, or is it just all on the one?
Well, what we used to do was we would just hold our own auctions, sealed bid, and we realized we were limiting our
Yeah.
exposure, so we decided, I don't know how many years ago we went to Gov Deals.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
We've had some good
Yeah.
success.
Yeah.
We just advertise and direct everyone to Gov Deals.
Right.
Yeah.
I would motion that we move forward with the disposition of those properties.
I'll second.
Okay.
Motion by Kelly, seconded by John Willie. get rid of some
Yes.
surplus equipment. Roll call, please.
Gaber,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Jovenini,
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
Callis.
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, moving on. Says mayor's comments. I think we had a lot of wind this last week here, and a lot of places had damage. We had a little, but not horrendous by any stretch, so we should feel fortunate. We are going to have need for an executive session, so I'm going to save my comments for the next meeting. City council comments. Don?
I've noticed this more than once, but the sign on Schroff property right there in the corner, you can't see around it. I mean,
Terrible.
I was behind a lady yesterday, and I know she was looking, trying to get out from behind that sign. It needs to be up in the air or put in a different position, because you can't see around it on Howard Street.
I think we've had this issue before.
Yeah.
haven't we, Dave?
Not that I'm aware of. But I'll look into it.
You're looking west.
If you're looking
Yeah.
west, you can't.
It's bad.
North looking west, yeah, you.
We can take a look and see about the vision triangle.
Come back to the variance and won't be here.
It's just their
I go
for
by
sale
every
sign.
day.
It's like the property for sale sign.
It's just
Oh,
down,
okay.
down low.
It's not
Nothing
there.
that's gonna need a variance.
Well, I wouldn't think so, but it's been up there for a long time.
And we talked about it before.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Anything happening on the Stillwell building?
They are, I spoke to their attorney a week or so ago, and they're expecting plans from their architect engineer anytime. And then when they get the plans, they're gonna evaluate, get some bids and prices, and then make a decision which way they go. So that was supposed to happen, I think, by late March. I haven't heard whether they've got them yet or not, but I think we're still in March. So I can follow up, and we'll talk to them tomorrow.
Would it be possible for them to straighten up a little bit in the meantime? To kind of,
It's not safe to go in.
okay.
It's an unsafe thing to go in without proper security measures, so.
Could they enclose?
There you
So you couldn't,
Well, I don't know what their plan is gonna be, but Ronnie thought it was going to be to take off the front of the building and move the front back some.
The
And
preliminary plan that I got, Alan, bring it out all the way out.
that's what they did,
Yeah,
I'll bring it
not
up.
to recess it, they're gonna bring it out where it was originally.
Okay. Just recently?
Yeah, I got a preliminary plan.
Okay, good. So there is some progress, it's just not the speed that everybody wants to go. But the engineer was, I think, in Florida or was out of state, and took a little while before he got back to be able to do it. He was he was the one they chose. I don't know if it's a matter of cost or just his expertise, but that's who they wanted.
the way it sits now, it's easy for someone to get in there.
No, if somebody didn't have any kind of concerns for their well-being, anybody could go into that place. I mean, it would take somebody out with a death wish, I think, that really wanted to go in there, but you get somebody with poor judgment, somebody that's impaired somehow or another, there is a risk, and we understand that. There's been, and with what security measures are taken, it's not gonna stop anybody that is, set on getting in there, and so, that is a problem, because it's open and obvious for sure. So I'll try to find out more by the next council meeting, but about every 2 weeks, I make a call just to follow up, because I go by it and I think about it myself.
Are we to the point to give them any kind of a deadline type? Close?
If they've got their bid, if they've got their plans and they were going to look at cost, I don't know how long that process is gonna be. Why don't we see what kind of report I get from Ronnie, and then we can look at it next meeting.
Okay.
Because I've got, talked to him this evening about getting together with him tomorrow. I'll bring this up too.
Make it.
So I may be gone the following month, so I can give you a written report. The girls are in MVC tournament,
All right.
Missouri.
City Administrator.
Of a couple, and the storms did affect city property in a couple places. Tree at the cemetery, is that right, Chris? And you guys, that's already been taken care of? Any damages to stones or anything out there? No?
No.
And Jake, I think there was some winds out at your place?
I'm convinced there was some rotation. We had a semi-trailer tip over. We had cinder blocks moved 15, 25 feet. Cinder blocks moved. Didn't lose power, but there was a lot of strange debris when we came in Saturday morning. But yeah, tree on the fence, our dumpsters got pushed.
Otherwise, I have need for two committees. One, we need a finance committee meeting. We're wrapping up. We talked about looking at the city's fee structure, so we're getting that wrapped up, and we'll be ready to present to the council, or to the committee to make recommendations to the council.
What are you thinking?
Well, I think I could go as early as Wednesday this week or into next week. It's
Wednesday is not good for me.
I can't
Okay.
do Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm out of town Wednesday to Friday, so.
okay. So we'll look, what about next Monday or Tuesday?
Good for me.
Monday would be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
We talking finance now?
Finance, yes.
What time?
That's your call. We'll try to do it earlier than later to save you guys time. I can go, I'm here, so 4, 5, 6.
4 o'clock is fine.
4 is good?
Yeah.
I won't be here at 4.
Okay,
I got a hearing till 4:30, so I could do 5 probably at
Okay.
the yes.
5 o'clock?
Works for me.
What's the date on that?
The 10th.
Yeah, Monday the 10th. Okay, and then the second is public properties. We want to just kind of talk through some of our options with the ambulance substation.
Who's not giving?
Yep, that is, public properties is Hicks, Barr, Bradshaw, Giovannini, Callis.
I'm flexible.
What week are you looking at next week?
I can, this one, if we could make it this week, would be better for our time frame. So,
I'm good any day but tomorrow.
okay,
Wide open.
okay.
Friday work?
Friday is okay with me.
Friday works with me.
What time?
What's good for you guys, 4, 5,
I got the whole day open.
okay? 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, 4 o'clock.
That's Good Friday.
Good Friday.
Yeah, it's Good Friday.
It'll be raining that day.
There's a positive thought.
I may be gone that day. I don't know yet for sure.
That's all I have.
Okay, as I said, public comments. Ladies, anything else to add to, we appreciate your being here, and we'll go from there. We do have need for executive session, so we will adjourn to executive session in about 3 minutes.
I need a
motion.
Oh,
I'll make a motion.
yeah. Motion by Jamie, seconded by Frank. Roll call, please.
Barr,
Yes.
Giovannini,
Yes.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Callis.
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Gaber.